I and my sister saved the crown prince of the Beijing circle. The crown prince let us choose between 300 million yuan and marrying him. My sister thought the crown prince was a worthless man and chose the 300 million yuan without hesitation. Shortly after I married the crown prince, his legs recovered, and I instantly became the most envied wealthy lady in the entire Beijing circle. My sister spent all the money and had nowhere to go, and she set fire to the house out of jealousy, burning both me and her to death. When I opened my eyes again, my sister looked at the crown prince with crazy infatuation, taking advantage of our kindness to him and offering herself to him. She locked me in the room for fear that I would ruin her plan. Little did she know, I was clutching the bank card for the 300 million yuan, grinning from ear to ear. There was actually an idiot rushing to marry a pervert. I woke up after rebirth on the very day Jet came to repay his kindness. At this moment, I was locked in my small room. From the next room came Mia's moans and groans. In the past, I would have climbed over to the next balcony and cursed Mia out loud. But now I bit the quilt tightly, afraid that my laughter would disturb her. After tonight, I would have 300 million yuan. 300 million yuan. As an ordinary college graduate from a non-95 and non-211 university who came from a small county, I could never earn that much money even if I worked my fingers to the bone for 3 lifetimes. If Mia took the initiative to let me get the 300 million yuan, I would even be willing to call her mom. But if you listened carefully, there was no man's voice in the sounds coming from the next room at all. Of course, that was because Jet, one of the protagonists of this sexual encounter, had long since passed out. Mia had gone to great lengths to drug him to ensure she could become a wealthy lady. She was probably worried that I would fight with her for the position of the wealthy lady, and now she was moaning extra loudly just to show off. But she didn't know that after she was reborn, I was reborn right after her. In my previous life, Mia and I went to watch a movie and found Jet covered in blood hiding in an alley. After all, he was a living person. Besides, an ordinary person like me would never think of the drama of a wealthy family being hunted down by enemies. I was worried that something would happen to him and was about to call 120 to send him to the hospital. But before I could dial the number, Jet grabbed my wrist. He hung up the call to 120 without hesitation.
Don't call 120. I can't go to the hospital.
I knew something was wrong and had no intention of caring any longer. But Mia thought Jet was good-looking and took him home without my permission. Mom and Dad also indulged her and cleaned a room for Jet. Later, our family found a doctor to come to the house for a diagnosis, and everyone found out that Jet's legs were broken and he could only live in a wheelchair. Mia immediately became cold to him. At that time, Jet took out his watch worth 1 million yuan and gave it to Mom and Dad, so they didn't drive Jet away. But the task of taking care of him fell on me. I took care of him day and night, carefully wiping his body and looking after his injuries and treatment. Later, Jet's family found the small county and took him back to the Zhang family, and we only then found out that he was the crown prince of Beijing City, when Jet came back with the same choice again. Mom and Dad felt sorry for my sister and didn't want her to marry a disabled man, so they let her take the 300 million yuan. Jet was nice to me, and I nodded and agreed to marry him. I married Jet, thinking I would live a good life. But I never expected that he was a pervert, even after his legs were cured and he treated me with extreme doting on the surface. In fact, he looked down on my family background and hated even more that I had seen him at his most embarrassed. He made me strip naked and show myself to various wealthy men for their amusement, forced me to eat dog food with a collar around my neck. He even tried to stuff cuttlefish and other things into my body, until he completely seized the power of the Jiang family and directly threw me to various playboys. I couldn't escape the iron cage he built around me. But Mia couldn't see my misery. She spent all the 300 million yuan and resented me for living the life of a wealthy lady. Later, she somehow sneaked into the Jiang family villa and set fire to it, burning me to death. The upper class was never a place for someone like me to try to climb into. I had already seen that clearly in my previous life. After Mia was reborn, instead of trying to escape, she rushed to enter the wealthy family. She was asking for trouble, and there was no need for me to stop her. After all, Mia in this life would not be happy and would only suffer more than I did. Jet was given sleeping pills and Viagra, and being a worthless man, he couldn't resist at all. He could only let Mia cross the line and make what was done cannot be undone. The lock of the room was opened, and after walking out of the room, I stared at Mia's room with great interest. Until I watched her push Jet, who was sitting in a wheelchair with a dark face, out of the room with a beaming look.
Sister, you're back? You didn't come home yesterday, so you don't know. Mia and Jet are getting married. To repay your previous care, Jet is going to give you 300 million yuan. You must come to Beijing to attend our wedding then, sister.
Mom and Dad also pushed me disdainfully.
You have no luck. Who told you not to come home yesterday?
The three of them put on a good show. I looked at Mia with a smile, as if I was looking at my 300 million yuan. Definitely. Jet's face was very ugly because of what happened yesterday. It was bad enough that he was tricked, but he was tricked by such a stupid woman. He even wanted to kill Mia. But he couldn't do it openly. After all, it would be too embarrassing to say it out loud.
Enough with the nonsense. Hurry up and pack your things and come back to the Jiang family with me.
Mia covered her mouth coquettishly and agreed immediately.
I know, Jet. Don't be so anxious. I'll go down first. Hurry up.
Jet called the bodyguards who had been waiting downstairs in the community and didn't bother to pay attention to her anymore. I quickly stopped him. Wait a minute, Master Jet. What's the matter? He was full of impatience. I ignored his expression and smiled brightly. This is my bank card number. Don't forget my 300 million yuan. Jet stared at me fixedly and suddenly spoke.
Fine, Lila. Not a single cent will be missing. But you have to remember what to say and what not to say.
Of course, I know when to keep my mouth shut. I made a gesture that I would definitely keep quiet, and Jet left with relief. As soon as Jet left, Mia's face changed immediately. She raised her chin and glanced at me disdainfully.
Lila, you saw it too. Jet came specially for me this time. If you know what's good for you, get as far away as possible.
Don't even try to seduce Jet. He's not someone you can climb up to. I sneered. I'm not as cheap as you. You bitch! Who are you calling cheap? I'm calling you cheap, bitch.
Lila.
Mia's face turned red with anger, and finally she stamped her foot and took Mom's arm.
Mom? Look at Lila. She just can't stand me having a good life. Jet is going to give her 300 million yuan, and she doesn't even know to take it out to honor you two elders.
Mom and Dad patted her hand soothingly and looked at me with evasive eyes.
Lila, look, you've only been working for a few years. You must have saved a lot of money. Why do you need so much more? There's a saying that a man who has no sins is guilty if he holds a treasure. What if someone resents you for having so much money? Why don't you deposit the money Master Jet gave you with us first, and we'll keep it for you. When you need it, just tell us.
Looking at the shrewd faces of the three of them, I felt a wave of nausea in my stomach. In my previous life, when they let me marry Jet and gave the 300 million yuan to Mia, they didn't say that at all. They not only thought the Jiang family gave too little, but also kept calling me to ask for money transfers. As long as I didn't transfer the money, they would call Jet directly. Jet would smile on the surface, but beat me half to death in private.
You shameless bitch. Is the whole family drowning in the eyes of money?
I had to sell the only things I had, but this only fueled their endless greed. Until I was trapped to death in the Jiang family villa, letting the men Jet called to the villa molest me at will. Mia couldn't contact me and had no money left. That's when she found the Jiang family villa. I hated them. How could I not hate them? Fury blazed in my eyes, and I wished I could cut the three people in front of me into pieces. Mia was still instigating beside them.
Yes, sister, I'm going to marry Jet, and I will definitely take Mom and Dad to live with me. Mom and Dad definitely don't care about this small amount of money. They just worry that you can't protect yourself. We are a family. Can't you trust Mom and Dad?
I looked at her with a smile. If you want the 300 million yuan, it's not impossible.
Really?
Mom and Dad's eyes lit up instantly. Then I'll marry Jet, and Mia will have the 300 million yuan.
Nonsense.
Mom and Dad were so angry that their faces turned green and white.
Mia has already made an engagement with Master Jet. How can it be changed just like that?
Lila, don't even dream about it. I shrugged my shoulders. Yeah, you take advantage and act innocent. That's exactly what you are. Don't even dream about it either. Mom, Dad, and Mia were so angry that they had nothing to say. Besides, Jet, who was downstairs, was getting impatient and urged them repeatedly. Mia hurried downstairs in a panic. Half an hour later, a text message reminder on my phone told me that the 300 million yuan had arrived in my account. I held my phone happily and deposited 100 million yuan in a fixed deposit. I also took out 50 million yuan to invest in stocks. I originally majored in finance, and after graduating from university, I found a tiring office job in the city. I had just learned how to survive in the financial circle when I married and moved to Beijing City. In my previous life, Jet pretended to be affectionate to me for a while. He arranged for me to work in the Zhang family's company, and I also learned a lot of knowledge. It's a pity that I never got to leave the Zhang family villa after that. My good youth was wasted in vain. I bought a large flat with a good geographical location in the small county. I also bought several buildings with appreciation potential in the urban area. As soon as I got the houses, I immediately put them online for rent. I had already resigned from that tiring office job that made me work like a dog long ago. To avoid being bored out of my mind, I still found a leisurely job, working from 9 to 5, tapping on the computer and checking stocks at the company every day. With money in my hand, I no longer had to look at my boss's face. I also boldly stood up for myself at work, like the post-2000s generation. As for Mia, she was living a much happier life than me. After that day, she went to Beijing City. Since her marriage to Jet was settled, her moments was flooded with posts about Jet every day. Then there were Dior bags, Armani clothes, Gucci dresses. All the famous luxury brands that people could name could be seen in her moments. Mia's comments were full of envy. A few days later, she picked up Mom and Dad and took them to Beijing too. On that day, the three of them took a group photo in front of a small villa, with the caption, "A happy family of 3, starting a new chapter in life." I looked at the phone screen and curled my lips into a cold smile. I knew this villa. It was filled with pinhole cameras without any dead ends. At first, Jet just used live streaming to let a group of perverted playboys in Beijing pay to watch, to test my value in this way. Later, he found that the gimmick of
Mrs. Zhang,
got worked very well. Besides, the Jiang family's nude shows were at a standstill. After marriage, I was completely locked up here by Jet. He moved the nude shows that were originally held in a top hotel of the Jiang family to this villa. And the gimmick was
Mrs. Zhang personally performs.
Sure enough, the nude shows that were on the decline were wildly sought after by the wealthy families in the Beijing circle. Jet could earn 1 billion yuan a year just by holding a nude show once a week. And that was only what I could see. In this life, Jet used the same methods that he used on Mia again. Mia, you think you have everything. But in fact, what you have lost is the most precious. Mia's wedding day was approaching, and she specially sent someone to deliver an invitation to me. The gilded character,
Sigh.
highlighted her arrogance. She called me specially.
Lila, you've never left the small county in your life, right? Don't worry. I've already bought a plane ticket for you in advance. Come to Beijing early to see the world, and don't embarrass yourself then. By the way, remember to buy some luxury goods. Don't dress like a country bumpkin. If you don't know how to buy luxury goods, you can ask me.
I refused her very sincerely. No, I dare not compliment your taste. Sister suggests that you don't cover yourself with Dior stuff all over your body. It only makes you look like a country bumpkin who has never seen the world. Learn more about haute couture, by the way. Don't you know what haute couture is? I asked 3 sarcastic questions in a row. No way? No way? No way? Is your wedding dress as a wealthy lady not haute couture? You're talking nonsense. Mia screamed at the top of her voice on the other end of the phone.
My clothes, bags, underwear, wedding dress, even everything I eat, drink, and use are all haute couture. You country bumpkin, stop looking for trouble for nothing.
She really could talk big.
Okay, the air you breathe is also haute couture. Is that okay?
I rolled my eyes and Mia on the other end hung up the phone in a fit of anger. I still went to Beijing City. First, to watch Mia's disastrous failure. Second, of course, to find someone to cooperate with. As an unknown person, the only way for me to meet a big shot was at Mia's wedding. I went to Beijing a few days in advance to wander around. I visited the tourist attractions in Beijing, and by the way, I scouted all the places where Jet was involved in illegal activities. Mia and Jet's wedding day arrived as scheduled. I dressed simply and neatly, which in Mia's eyes was cheap. She had jumped the Dragon Gate and looked down on her former self. Mia pinched her nose, wearing a wedding dress that exposed a lot of skin, walked up to me with her head held high in high heels.
Lila, really? Can't you tidy yourself up a bit? Did you buy this whole outfit from a street stall for only 100 yuan?
Saying that, she waved her arm to let me see her wedding dress clearly.
Do you know how much this haute couture wedding dress of mine cost?
She specially emphasized the words.
Haute couture.
Deliberately reminding me that she knew everything. I played along with her performance. 5 million yuan.
Haha, country bumpkin.
Mia covered her mouth and giggled coquettishly.
Jet dotes on me. He specially asked someone to make it for me. It cost a full 50 million yuan. It's understandable that you can't understand it. After all, you're just a country bumpkin who knows nothing.
Yeah, you're right. I nodded perfunctorily. Mom and Dad were also dressed in famous brands and glanced at me disdainfully.
You're here? Why don't you know to give Mia a wedding gift? You are her biological sister. The gift can't be a small amount of thousands or tens of thousands of yuan. That would be so embarrassing.
I raised my eyebrows. Then how much do you say I should give? Give all the 300 million yuan to you all?
That's not a bad idea.
Mom and Dad's eyes flickered, and I could see their calculations clearly on their faces. I wasn't angry either, and took out 2 red notes and 1 green note from my bag with a smile, and handed them to the young man who was keeping the wedding gift book. Here you go. A precious gift from your biological sister who traveled across several provinces to attend your wedding. The young man who kept the book didn't know the relationship between us and asked casually.
Is there any meaning to this?
No special meaning. I just came specially to scold the bride. Lila. She stared at me, her voice full of anger. I smiled. Mia, don't be impulsive. This is your big day. If Mom and Dad hadn't held Mia back, she would have lost her composure on the spot. She only left a harsh word and turned to find Jet. You're lucky this time. I shrugged my shoulders and found a seat to sit down by myself. In fact, Mia's whole outfit was only worth 5 million yuan. Because her outfit was exactly the same as my wedding dress in my previous life. The key point was that it wasn't a wedding dress at all. It was a modified costume for the leading actress of the nude show. Didn't she see that the parts of her wedding dress on the chest, back, and thighs were all cut extremely low? The thin fabric clung to her body, especially for certain people to admire. Look, I had just sat down. The chattering discussions of the men at the next table reached my ears. Damn, I'm a little tempted. I didn't believe Jet when he said there would be a big surprise tonight. Now I regret it to death. Ha ha ha, lucky for me. I watched the live stream a long time ago and bought a VIP ticket for tonight early. I heard it's her first time. This is so interesting. Master Jet is so generous. Brother, you're my real brother. Can you pull some strings and let me go in and have a look? Just one look. Get out of here. Find your own connections. I bit the tip of my tongue tightly to keep my hands from shaking and making a sound. I didn't know these people, but their voices were all too familiar to me. Every day in my previous life, there were always the voices of different men in my ears. I couldn't see their faces, and I didn't even deserve to see them. I only needed to please them. I bit the tip of my tongue hard and tried my best to stay awake. In this life, they don't need to know who I am. They only need to disappear completely. When the auspicious time came, Jet was pushed out slowly by Mia. The two exchanged rings and announced their wedding vows. And the eyes of those men at the next table looking at Mia became even more eager. The ceremony was over, and the two began to toast the guests at each table. But all the wine was poured into Mia's stomach. In less than half an hour, Mia was already drunk and confused by the alcohol. Jet said sorry to everyone considerately. Then he let the bodyguards carry her to the lounge to rest first. The entire hotel belonged to the Zhang family, and it was self-evident what would happen. I didn't bother to watch any longer. When I saw the person I was looking for stand up and go out, I quickly followed. After turning 2 corridors, the person disappeared without a trace. But I wasn't in a hurry, because I knew he was also going to the nude show tonight. I followed the route I knew from my previous life with ease. Then I bumped straight into the man who had long since noticed me. This path led to the nude show venue with no crowds or surveillance cameras. Zane looked at me with a sneer.
Miss, you've been following me all the way. You can't be in love with me, can you?
He was famous for his sharp tongue in the circle. Even I, who was only allowed to go out freely 2 or 3 times by Jet in my previous life, had heard of him. But none of that mattered. The key point was that the Liu family and the Zhang family had a good relationship on the surface, but had been competing with each other for many years in private. But the Liu family had always been in the business circle and had never taken any crooked paths. If the Zhang family hadn't taken crooked paths, the current Zhang family would never be a match for the Liu family. In recent years, the Zhang family's nude shows had been developing worse and worse, and the Zhang family was in urgent need of new blood to inject vitality, and Jet provided this new blood. The Zhang family stabilized again, and Jet also stood tall and straight. The Liu family was so anxious that their eyes turned red, and Zane wanted to take the nude shows as a breakthrough point to completely destroy the Zhang family. But he hadn't caught any solid evidence so far. Cooperating with him would be beneficial in every way and harmless in any. I felt my scalp tingle under Zane's gaze, and I pretended to be grief-stricken and wiped away my tears. You misunderstood me. I just want to find someone to help me. Jet betrayed me and married my biological sister. I hate them to death. I see you are also a CEO. I have all the dirt on Jet. Are you interested?
Oh? You don't know who I am, yet you followed me all the way?
Zane obviously didn't believe my pretense, but I didn't need him to believe it. In front of such a person, all your pretense was useless. But precisely because of this, not pretending would make you stand out and arouse more suspicion. I patted the bag I was carrying with me, blinked at him, and avoided the important points. Boss, do you want it or not? Zane narrowed his eyes and waved the nude show ticket in his hand.
Do you know what this is?
I shook my head blankly. I only have the dirt on Jet, no dirt on any concert. He nodded and said nothing, took the information by himself. His originally lazy movements suddenly straightened, and he flipped through the information seriously. Until he finished reading, he took a few deep breaths before regaining his voice.
Where did you get this from?
I stole it from him. I scratched the back of my head. I guessed it must be something valuable since he cherished it so much. Since it's so useful to you, boss, shall I sell it to you? I don't want much. Just 5 lots of shares in your company after the matter is done. Zane narrowed his eyes and stared at me.
Deal.
That night, Zane went to the nude show and got some more evidence. At the same time, I also found out that Mia performed on stage directly that night. The theme of this performance was promoted as a
Wedding.
Jet sold Mia's virginity at a high price. 10 participation places, each place cost 5 million yuan, and the cost of Mia's hymen repair was no more than 10,000 yuan, at the highest. There were also other audience seats, ranging from 3 million yuan to 1 million yuan. Those who needed service could also order individual services. The prices for individual services also ranged from 3 million yuan to 1 million yuan. Most of the people inside were minors. What they played was pure perversion. Needless to say, Mia collapsed when she woke up the next day. Even moving her wrists was the most strenuous action, let alone standing up. Her mind was dull, and she stared blankly at Jet, who slid slowly to her side, pushing the wheelchair.
Jet?
Jet still maintained that smile. He gently brushed the hair stuck to Mia's face away for her.
Mia, do you know how amazing you are? Overnight, we earned 1 billion yuan.
But
Mia's voice was extremely hoarse.
But what did they all take me for? I'm your wife. Why did you do this? Why?
She looked at Jet with tears in her eyes full of disbelief. Jet's tone was still gentle.
Mia, this is reality. Don't you forget. This is the road you chose.
Mia was stunned, then burst into tears suddenly.
I don't want this. This is not the road I chose. I am your wife. You can't treat me like this. I am Mrs. Jiang. How could they do this?
Jet frowned slightly, obviously a little displeased with her questioning. He stretched out his hand and slowly pinched Mia's neck, his tone cold.
Mia, be good. Aren't you still the respected Mrs. Jiang now? What else can you do besides being good?
Mia was so scared that she shivered violently. She lowered her head, tears falling on her chest, and could only let Jet brainwash her endlessly.
Mia, so many people are infatuated with your body. How can you be afraid? You know, no one can be as sought after as you are. You are both my Mrs. Jiang and the master who controls others' bodies. You deserve to be so sought after. My Mia, look how beautiful you are now. Don't you want others to see this beauty?
Jet pinched Mia's chin and forced her to watch the video from last night. She bit her lips tightly and burst into tears. Jet kissed her forehead lightly, his warm breath sprinkling on her face.
It's okay, Mia. You will accept everything voluntarily. The Jiang family and I will wait for you.
I went back to the small county right after the wedding. Zane had already started planning according to the evidence I gave him. Most of the time, having evidence doesn't mean having an absolute chance of winning. So Zane was not in a hurry to eradicate the Jiang family for the time being. As for Jet, he gradually returned to his former peak. Later, he used the world's top medical technology to cure his legs that had been treated for nearly half a year. During this period, Mia's news disappeared from Moments for a while, and Mom and Dad called me in a hurry the night I got home.
Lila, I bought a plane ticket for you. You have to come to Beijing right now.
I put my phone aside and focused on applying a facial mask. What's the matter?
I can't explain it clearly on the phone, just come first. By the way, you haven't spent the 300 million yuan yet, have you? Bring it with you too.
Mom and Dad's voices were urgent, and I could vaguely hear Mia's sobbing. I sneered. What's wrong? Did Mia get into trouble? Want me to be a scapegoat for her? You're talking nonsense. Mia suddenly snatched the phone away, her voice shrill and hoarse.
Jet is extremely good to me. I am the legitimate Mrs. Jiang.
Then you let Mom and Dad call me just to show off to me simply? I laughed out loud, and Mia on the other end was obviously lacking in confidence. So what if it is?
I even wanted to take you to make money for the sake of you being my sister. Now it seems you don't deserve it. You can hide in that small county and be a country bumpkin for the rest of your life.
Okay, I replied lazily, making her hang up the phone in a fit of anger. In the early morning of that night, when I was surfing the internet intensively, I suddenly found a revelation about the Jiang family. The content angrily exposed Jet's evil acts of ruining her. It also included accusations against the Jiang family from her parents. The content was very familiar, and it was obviously posted by Mia and Mom and Dad. But unfortunately, this Weibo post disappeared without a trace in less than 2 minutes after it was posted. I heard from Zane that Mom and Dad and Mia were secretly driven out of the villa that night. Mom and Dad were taken away by a group of people, and I never saw them again. And Mia became a homeless person in the blink of an eye. All this was obviously a clear message to Mia. Jet knew her every move like the back of his hand and could crush her at any time. Mia couldn't stand being homeless for a day. She turned around and begged Jet again. He looked at her gently, with mockery in his eyes.
Figured it out?
Mia nodded like a chicken pecking rice. Since then, Mia, who had disappeared for less than half a week, appeared again. This time, she was not only active in Moments. She was also active on various social software platforms. Yesterday, she was drinking red wine on a sea cruise ship, and today she was reading classic literature on a private jet. Just like a real wealthy lady. It's just that this wealthy lady never wore revealing clothes. When someone asked, she directly replied to the netizen by them.
My husband is jealous. He doesn't like me wearing those revealing clothes.
I liked her post and replied with 5 characters under her Moments. Ha 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 ha. It made her call me directly, opening her mouth with shrill accusations.
Lila, are you sick? Do you feel uncomfortable if you don't seek attention?
I replied teasingly. Of course I do. Your husband's legs are healed, he has 800 scandals a day, and he's still so jealous of you, I'm really envious.
You're just jealous that I married a good husband, aren't you? Stop pretending.
Mia sneered.
Don't let me catch you having any wrong thoughts about Jet. Otherwise, I will make you die without a burial place.
I ignored her warning and changed the topic directly. Sister, what are Mom and Dad doing recently? Why haven't they called me lately?
Mom and Dad are busy. They don't have time to care about you.
The voice on the other end suddenly became guilty.
Besides, since you don't want to give Mom and Dad the 300 million yuan, don't call them again in the future. You don't even want to give Mom and Dad their pension money. You don't deserve to be a daughter of the Luo family.
She tried to gain the upper hand with a high pitch. But unfortunately, I already knew everything clearly. Because of her impulsiveness, Jet kidnapped Mom and Dad to warn her. He threw the 2 elders into the wild wolf pack privately raised by the Jiang family. Then, they were eaten clean. My first step in retaliating against Jet was to sell the embarrassing photos of him who had an accident and strayed into the small county at a high price. Because he and Mia were very popular on the internet, these photos quickly spread all over the internet. Everyone was very curious how the arrogant young master could be so embarrassed. And the marketing account revealed the truth again. At that time, there was an internal strife in the Jiang family, and the young master was tricked by his own uncle and strayed into the small county. Then he met his current wife, Mia. The marketing account also revealed, by the way, that it was I who rescued Jet back then. But because Mom and Dad loved Mia more, they let her marry Jet. And Mia was extremely dissolute after marriage, often staying in nightclubs with 10 men, not taking Jet seriously. Coupled with the seemingly real and fake interviews of me by marketing accounts, it quickly became a hot topic among netizens.
I feel so sorry for the young master. He is obviously the heir, but was almost killed by his own relatives in a small county. I heard that the current ruler of the Jiang family likes his uncle more, so he just let the other party act recklessly. No, can someone tell me if the CPI ship is over? Same question upstairs. Is the sister really a vicious woman who took advantage of her kindness to seek benefits? My God, the sister is so pitiful. No love from her father and mother, and her lover was snatched by her biological sister. Why feel sorry for her upstairs? She got 300 million yuan. 300 million yuan.
Netizens were emotional, and when they couldn't get an answer, they rushed to the official Weibo of the Jiang family's company to question them, causing the Jiang family's company to lose 4 or 5 percentage points in a single night. The Jiang family counted all these losses on Jet's head. Moreover, the family secrets that the Jiang family had kept silent about were exposed. This was undoubtedly a slap in the face of the real ruler of the Jiang family. What big family doesn't have internal strife? But putting it on the bright side and causing losses to the interests of the entire family. Then you are the enemy of the entire family. It was hard for the current ruler of the Jiang family not to suspect that this was Jet's trick, that he was resisting and questioning the ruler's decision-making. Jet was already walking on thin ice in the Jiang family, and this time he was directly pushed to the edge of the inheritance battle. He was so angry that his whole body trembled. In the early morning of that day, he hurriedly bought a plane ticket and rushed to the small county. When he found my residence, I just went downstairs to buy breakfast wearing a teddy bear pajamas. He and I, who was dressed in a neat suit, stared at each other. Then Jet sighed first.
Lila, I know you love me, and I love you too. I originally planned to marry you, but I had already made an agreement with your sister at that time, and I had no way to break the contract. It's only natural for you to be angry. I understand. I don't blame you for spreading those photos on the internet. I just beg you to protect yourself.
As he spoke, he reached out to touch my head, but I dodged it quickly with sharp eyes and quick hands. Brother, can we talk properly? Jet's mouth twitched, and he endured and endured to calm down his emotions.
Lila, believe me, I will kick Mia out and marry you soon. First go online and explain that I just came to relax and met you back then, okay?
I stroked my chin, seeing that you are a little sincere. Okay. Jet's eyes lit up immediately.
Lila, I knew you understood me the most. If it weren't for you saving me back then, I might never have met you in my life.
Yeah. I nodded perfunctorily and took out the Alipay QR code conveniently. My appearance fee is 5 million yuan. By the way, if I explain, netizens will definitely find my home. The security of this community. Jet didn't even think about it and increased the chips.
Lila, don't worry, I'll give you a house in Beijing. The security measures are absolutely top-notch.
Deal. I edited the text in front of him and sent it. By the way, everyone has a misunderstanding. Master Jet just came to travel back then and accidentally suffered from anemia. Jet nodded with satisfaction. After Jet was in a hurry, Mia started to panic. She had just finished a new performance when she heard that Jet had come to find me. I stood up to support him, and the online public opinion was one-sided in his favor. I knew Master Jet and his sister are true love. He got into trouble and his sister responded at the first time. Huh? Is the sister really a vicious woman? Is it true what the internet said about her being with 10 men in one night? I don't know, but there are pictures and facts. It's probably true. Mia was so angry that she almost exploded with rage. She called me, but it showed that my phone was turned off. She was in a state of panic and rushed to the small county without a second thought. I turned on the live broadcast and waited steadily for her arrival. Mia found my house and banged on the door relentlessly.
Lila, get out here. You bitch? Who allowed you to seduce Jet? You bitch, get out.
I opened the door, and her body lurched forward, almost falling face down on the ground.
Lila.
I sat on the sofa leisurely cracking melon seeds and replied casually. Mrs. Jiang, please make it clear. It was your husband who flew here to find me, not me who went to find him, okay? Besides, he threatened me. What can I, a small citizen, do? I just posted a clarification for him silently. Mia didn't believe it, her voice shrill and piercing.
Only you have those photos. You must have done it on purpose. Why are you haunting me like a ghost? Are you doing it on purpose? I have obviously become Mrs. Jiang and obey all of Jet's arrangements. Why do you still force Jet to come to you? Why? Why are you so cheap? Why on earth?
Mia collapsed, grabbed her hair, and stared at me viciously. Her crazy look really warmed my heart. I pretended to be surprised and covered my mouth, pointing at the scars on her body. Mia, the scars on your body? She had come out in a hurry and didn't cover them up. It wasn't until I reminded her at this moment that she noticed the scars on her body. Mia suddenly calmed down. She stared at those scars and suddenly laughed out loud.
Scars? Do you know how these scars got here? Jet said, I'm beautiful, said I should be the master who controls everything. I listened to him and served those men every day. You know what? It's quite a different experience.
She flicked her hair and stared at me with a smile. At this moment, more scars on her body were exposed.
I know you couldn't even go out in the past. Look at me, how much Jet dotes on me. I am not only Mrs. Jiang, but also the real center of attention at the dance. We are a match made in heaven, so why are you still here?
She became more and more excited as she spoke, until she went crazy and rushed to me to pinch my neck, but was quickly stopped by the police who arrived. The police waved their ID cards and said expressionlessly,
Miss Mia, you are involved in a case in Beijing City. Please come with us to cooperate with the investigation.
Mia froze in place suddenly. It wasn't until the police repeated it and reached out to escort her away that she woke up like a dream.
You mean Jet was arrested?
Yes, we are still investigating the relevant details of the case. Please cooperate, miss.
Lila?
Mia stiffly turned her head to look at me. A trace of clarity flashed in her dull eyes. But she still couldn't figure it out. In the end, she was taken away by the police. The living room fell silent, and I slowly turned off the live broadcast. At this moment, netizens were frantically posting comments in the live broadcast room.
What's going on? Wasn't Jet tricked by his uncle? Why was he arrested? I'm also confused upstairs. And what does Mrs. Jiang mean by serving? Damn, I study psychology. I suspect Mrs. Jiang has schizophrenia. Upstairs. Why do I think she was PU8? Breaking news. Go check the hot search that just broke, and you'll understand everything. I've read it upstairs. I can only say that the upper class is really messed up.
From the moment Jet boarded the plane back to Beijing City, Zane started to close the net. He sent the evidence to the government together. At the same time, the uncensored video of Mia's wedding day leaked online, as well as all the account books of the Zhang family's nude shows. The entire Weibo crashed in an instant. The Zhang family and Jet were undoubtedly sentenced to death, and Mia was released after taking a statement because she was forced to join the nude shows. But her mental state was already abnormal. She rambled every day, and when she saw a stranger on the street, she would grab their hand and put it on her chest.
I'm so beautiful, look at me. Why don't you look at me? Jet said you are all infatuated with me.
She was reported to the police and taken to the police station several times, and then released because she was mentally ill. Until one day she was still wandering the street like a madman, grabbing people. As a result, she ran into a tough guy, was beaten to death alive, and her body was thrown into a factory blender. She never woke up until she died. At the same time that this happened, the Jiang family's stock price plummeted to the limit down. Countless stockholders frantically sold their shares. The Jiang family's company was soon ordered to suspend business for inspection.